Now, I'm here to talk about video game communities, and in particular, the FGC, which is an acronym I'll be throwing around a lot in this Pecha Kucha. And the acronym means fighting game community, and why I feel it has significance to me. Now, the fighting game community started out in arcades back then. During the coin-op era, people would get together, throw down some quarters, and play fighting games together. But now that arcades have kind of started to go a bit more out of date and technology's changed, now things have gotten a bit different. So people are still going to arcades to play games together, but instead they're sitting around with arcade sticks on new systems playing on TVs most of the time. And there's usually setups for multiple games of different varieties that players can just bring in and throw down. And now it's not really you have to pay necessarily to play the games, but you're actually paying to be in the arcade. But now fighting games have moved to an even bigger scale where there's huge tournaments and events being thrown with sponsorships, and players are actually able to win significant amounts of money. Like CEO last year in Orlando, there was a $5,000 pot prize for Street Fighter and $5,000 for Marvel. And now these tournaments are being held in huge hotels or different venues that have pretty legitimate productions behind them, following various themes of all sorts. Rather be the focus is actually an anime convention with a side tournament on there. The community is just ever expanding, and it's just growing more and more as venues get bigger, more people show up, prizes get bigger, sponsors, and all that. And this hype factor has been increasing too as players find enjoyment in seeing other players actually exploit games and bring them to a higher skill level and bring them to the full potential. And there's quite a bit of potential inside the FGC too, as there's numerous tangents that you can go on when you're actually inside of it. Now, there's one cool thing that's really amazing about the FGC, and that is that it puts everybody on the same level. So whether you have any kind of handicap or anything, you can compete with the world's best. And this is actually a pretty amazing thing considering now other sports really allow that, and esports is kind of an outlet for people to get out. And in particular, there's this one story of this Asuma Ichikawa, who's a handicapped player that wanted to go to Evolution 2012, and they fundraised money through Shoryuken and actually got him there. And then there's another story of this other handicapped individual named Broly, who actually he has some sort of disorder that limits his use of his limbs, and he actually found a different way utilizing option selects and exploiting different functions in Street Fighter to actually get on a high level. And I put a link to YouTube for his story because it's a pretty touching story. And now, another amazing thing about fighting games is that it brings, or it's kind of in a new era right now, it's bringing gamers out of their house and interacting with one another, which is one of the big things at Full Sail is networking. And this is actually a perfect outlet for game enthusiasts and game players to just get together and express their love for games of all sorts. And being able to actually learn stuff off of one another and communicate and get out and play games rather than sit inside all the time. And this esports is what they're calling it nowadays. It's starting to pick up a lot more, and sponsorships are starting to pick up, like Mad Cats. They sponsor professional players to get them out to different events to make the events just more exciting. Like EG or Evil Geniuses and Full Sail even sponsors some esports, but they're more focused on the computer games right now. And now the games are evolving even more, so like players are even coaching one another while they're playing them games, or they're just collaborating together to actually play specific titles, like maybe Street Fighter Cross Tekken. They'll have team tournaments. And this showcase of high-level gameplay gets people quite excited and has been getting quite a bit of attention lately too. And a lot of this has been showcased or being shown to the public through streams of various sorts. So streaming is just kind of station where they set up and they actually live stream the footage of the players and the venue and all that. And this is an example of what a stream station actually looks like. And there's usually commentators commentating the match and talking about what's going on and just bringing a bit more excitement to actually watching people play this game. And there's quite a bit of value in here too. Like, bigger companies have the potential to market and then get their name out there, meet people or game enthusiasts that want to play their games, and it's just a perfect place to just network and meet people, which is a really big part of it, being able to actually meet other enthusiasts, because eventually once we start making games, it's a perfect little outlet to meet people that would want to potentially try your games or actually have good knowledge and give you proper feedback that you might actually need someday. And plus, with sponsorships and all that stuff too, if you actually get good at gaming, you have the potential to travel around, meet new people, and just experience games with other people. Well, other experienced, talented other individuals. And this is kind of a great experience, being able to actually interact with these other people and face to face. And this is why FGC is so important to me, and I would love to be able to give back to this community someday. As they provide so much for the players, I want to be able to provide back and give back to the community. And this is my Pecha Kucha presentation.